Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting coming to you in a bonnet. Because I just straightened my hair yesterday. If you all are interested in seeing how I blow dried my hair with a new blow drying brush that I got, I did an I tried it video of that yesterday. You all can check that out after you finish watching this video. I've been natural for 7 years now, maybe 7.5 years, and my hair is waist length. So if you're interested in any of the natural hair stuff and wanting to know things that I have done to maintain healthy hair, I also have a video on my natural hair journey as well. And you can check all that stuff out. But in the meantime, we are going to review season 6, episode 5 of Braxton Family Values, which is titled Don't Rock the Boat. Now, first, we start off with Towanda and Trina having drinks. They talk about Denham's party being at Vince's house. Denham said he don't want grown-ups at the party anyway, so I think that takes a little bit of the guilt off of the aunties for not wanting to be there. But they do feel that they should let Toni know that they're not going to be in attendance because it is at Vince's house. Now, they don't know if Tamar knows about the party being at Vince's house. And Trina finally speaks up and says that, and says to Towanda that it's too soon for them to go through anything with this lawsuit, considering how fresh all the divorce stuff is and how everything in the family is already so sticky, with Mama Evelyn telling Tamar's business and Tamar not talking to anybody in the family. It's just too much. And I think we can all agree to that. So Towanda says that she hasn't spoken to Tamar, so she can't let Tamar know about the lawsuit. And then Trina says, well, I just hope everything can be settled out of court so it doesn't even get to the point of a lawsuit. And Towanda says, this is not the lawsuit news. Is not something you tell somebody over text message. So she wants to tell her in person. Now, next we see Toni shooting a video for Deadwood. I actually like the song. Something about the music, how it's like very guitar based. I really like it. The only thing that I may not like about the song is I feel like Toni's voice sounds kind of mechanized over the song as opposed to like her raw voice. But I do like the song. Moving on, Toni is telling us that at this point in her life, she is very happy, being newly engaged or whatever. Now, here's the deal. For the first time that I can recall, Toni Braxton actually says the words that she is in love with Brian, aka Baby, aka Birdman, aka Mr. I Pay My Artist in Kisses. Okay, this is the first time that I have ever heard her say that she's actually in love with him. Now, even though she said it, I find it very hard to believe that she really is in love with him because he has like a face that only a mother could love. It's just so weird. Them being together is so much of a mismatch. It makes you question so many things in the world. But as much as we all love Toni, I think that she's mystified by the fact that Birdman is able to take care of her financially. And we don't even really know if he's able to do that. We all know that there are a lot of people who are wealthy or rich who finance being rich through debt. I feel like I heard pretty recently in the past few months that Baby had to have his home repossessed. It was like a $10 million home or something along those lines. So I don't know. They're just not good together in my eyes. So next we see Trina and Traci at the boat show. Boat shows are super fun, by the way. So if you ever have one in your local area, you should go check it out. It's amazing what they can put into these boats and make it feel like a real house or, a nice hotel. But moving on, Traci said, after Trina told her that she was planning on buying a boat, Traci was like, oh, we came over in boats and now we own them. And I'm like, Traci is so crazy. But moving on, Trina has been taking lessons to learn how to drive a boat. And then Traci brings up that Trina doesn't really know how to drive that well. I don't know if y'all remember, like a season or two ago, Trina was talking about how her sisters always make her feel like she's incapable of doing stuff. So I feel like Tracy shouldn't have really brought that up. But moving on, Trina says that she wants to enjoy her life, enjoy the things that she's worked hard for, and I totally understand that. You can't go your whole life, depriving yourself of the things that you work for because there's no guarantee that you'll be here long enough to enjoy them. So next, they are concerned about Kevin and Olivia having the baby, and Tracy is still very concerned that Kevin is going to be giving up his dreams because of the baby. And poor Tracy just sees herself and Kevin Jr. And even though the whole situation was over 20 years ago, Tracy still feels a little bit upset about having to give up her dream when she got pregnant. Now, what added an interesting layer to this whole situation is that Trina was actually pregnant at the same time as Tracy when it was time for them to sign that contract, and that the only reason that Trina got to stay and Tracy couldn't stay was because Tracy was a few months behind Trina in her pregnancy, and I guess the record label didn't want to wait those extra months for Tracy to have her baby as well. So that adds like an extra layer of frustration because Trina was basically in the same predicament. She just got pregnant a few months prior to Tracy. And what's interesting to me is that Tracy has still been able to achieve her goals in music. Why it's so different when it comes to me? How many more times can I believe? That's actually a really good song, Last Call. And then, she was on Braxton Family Christmas. And it's like, oh, is that enough? Or why isn't that enough for her? But Trina actually apologized to Tracy for basically abandoning her and leaving her behind when they went out to get their music career. And I think in a way that Tracy was kind of their sacrificial lamb when it came to them getting their record deal and getting a music career or whatever. But, Tracy understands that it wasn't her time at the time. So, moving on, we see Towanda street walking. I feel like this scene was very weird. I don't know where Towanda was, that she didn't have a purse, she didn't have a jacket on, or nothing, and she was just walking down the street, talking to Toni on the sidewalk. That was a very odd moment. It was kind of weird. But she claims that she's tired of delivering the bad news to Toni. But if you rewind the episode to just a few minutes earlier, she volunteered to talk to Toni. So I don't want to hear that, Towanda. Towanda didn't tell Toni that she was not going to be at the party and that none of the girls were going to be at the party, that Mama Evelyn wasn't going to be at the party till the day before the party. Now that is some crap. Because they all knew as soon as Toni told them that the party was going to be at Vince's house that they weren't going to come. So they didn't tell her to the last minute. So to me, that would have been disappointing. Like, if y'all don't want to come because of all the stuff that's going on, I definitely get it. But don't give me notice like the day before. That doesn't make sense. Now, moving on. Toni sounded silly to me when she said that she didn't get that her sisters didn't want to go. They're about to sue him for screwing them over. Apparently he's been hitting their sister. To me, it makes sense that they wouldn't want to go. To me, it doesn't make sense that you would want to have the party at Vince's. But then it comes out that Tamar is the person who said to have it at Vince's. Apparently, Tamar, in addition to being Denham's aunt, is Denham's godmother. And Tamar, I guess, offered up the house for the party to be hosted at. Problem with that is Tamar don't live there no more. Or does she? They keep going back and forth. We're very confused. And, to be honest, Tamar is probably confused too. But moving on, Toni doesn't think that Tamar and Vince will actually get a divorce, and maybe she's right. I mean, we haven't heard anything officially declaring whether they are together or not. And it's been about 6 months since Tamar filed for divorce, and we all know that Hollywood divorces are over quite quickly. So I don't know. They're just going through the divorce motions, I guess. So next, Mama Evelyn is turning 70, which apparently is also known as her 31st annual 39 and holding party. That's doing the most, but whatever. Towanda thinks that the party is the perfect time to bring up the lawsuit situation. And Toni disagrees, and I think we all disagree. But I kind of understand Tawanda's frustration in that whenever the girls try to reach out to Tamar, they get snubbed. So if the birthday party for Mama Evelyn is the only time or situation where she's able to talk to Tamar, then she wants to take advantage of that opportunity. So then I started thinking about, why is Towanda so eager to pull the lawsuit card? Because from my understanding, they want to try to talk to Vince before it gets to the point of a lawsuit to see if they can settle outside of court without getting lawyers involved and things getting extra messy. Now, if Vince obliges them and the lawsuit is not needed, then Towanda just ruffled everybody's feathers for like no reason. It's really weird to me that Towanda is so eager to talk about this lawsuit when the lawsuit may not even happen, depending on, what Vince's attitude is about the situation. And I think that this may kind of be contrived to stir more controversy for this show. Towanda being so eager about that is very weird to me. So next we see Traci. She's checking on Olivia, and Traci is super excited about becoming a grandmother, which is very interesting. She seemed a little weird about it at first, but she's coming around to the idea. Apparently, the gender of the baby has been determined, or the sex of the baby has been determined. And y'all, Traci wants to do a gender reveal. And real quick, I'm going to do a little rant on gender reveals. I hate them. I think they are stupid. And the fact that Traci later on confirms that the gender reveal is going to be separate from the baby shower is so stupid. Why do you need two different celebrations for the coming of one baby? First off, the whole gender reveal situation places unnecessary emphasis on if a child is female versus male. It creates like this stupid like competition or expectation. Like typically the mom will want one child, a boy or a girl, and then the dad will want another boy and a girl. And so you kind of have them going at odds. And then if the child turns out not to be what one of the parents wanted, then you have one of the parents that's a little bit disappointed. And it's like, who has time for disappointment when you have the birth of a child coming up? Who cares if it's a boy or a girl? If it's a girl, what's wrong with her having a football as a toy? If it's a boy, what's wrong with him having, pink clothes? To me, it doesn't matter. I think they're placing too much emphasis on it, and that the whole pink versus blue it doesn't make sense. What is the point of a gender reveal party when you can just tell people what the sex of the baby is at the baby shower, or you can not tell anybody and let them be surprised? To me, the sex of your baby is not important, and for people to have a whole separate event where people have to come and bring gifts again, is just too much fanfare for me. The coming of a child is a beautiful situation, but I think people put too much emphasis on the sex of the baby. And it annoys me. I hope I explained myself okay. But moving on, I like Traci's relationship with Olivia. They seem to be pretty close, and so that was nice to see. So next we see Towanda and Trina yet again, and Andre is being the little B word again. What's new? But Towanda really likes whoever she is seeing, and so does Trina. And Trina better not be talking about Gabe, okay? But they have a little flashback about how the sisters interrogated Jason when Trina was dating Jason, and so them bringing around new men apparently is always a big situation. And so somehow they agree on double date plans, and Trina's not really with it, but she feels like at least the playing field will be even with both of them bringing their new men around. I'm under the impression that Towanda is enough of a secret squirrel to pretend she's going on a double date and then say that her date can't make it, so that it'll just be the three of them, Trina, Trina's man, and Towanda. Yeah, I feel that way. But moving on, Toni talks to Tamar. Tamar actually answered the phone. They talked about planning Mama Evelyn's party. And interestingly enough, Tamar answered the phone for Toni, and Toni says, "Me and Tamar don't talk about Vince." And I think that's the condition of being in communication with Tamar, is that we can't talk about the divorce. If you talk to me about the divorce, then I don't want to talk, kind of situation. But Toni was like, "Well, what should we get for mom?" And Tamar was like, "Well, the party." And then Toni was like, "Well, we should get her a car." And she's like, "Get a car for a 70-year-old?" I was with Tamar on that one. So we see Trina gets a new boat. The boat looks super nice, and she has a captain that is teaching her how to use the boat. The boat has a downstairs. And then Traci tells her about the gender reveal and baby shower. Ugh. Um, and then Traci got a call from Toni and Toni asked her to be one of the opening acts that on a tour that she's having with her and Tamar. And I think that's so wonderful. Toni, even though Toni has shown us that she has been somewhat resentful towards the whole if Toni makes it, then all the sisters make it situation, she still has this heart to where she wants to support the success of her sisters. So I really do like that. Now, moving on, um, I feel like we heard news that they kicked Traci off that tour. Um, I'm not sure. Y'all can verify that if y'all want to. But moving on, apparently Tamar is in a movie and Traci wants to go support Tamar, kind of talk to her. Since Tamar is not coming to them and not answering their calls, I guess she figured she would go to Tamar. I think it's a great gesture. But next we see the situation where Traci is on her way, or she is at the movie set to support Tamar. We all know how much Tamar did not like being surprised on stage when three of the girls came on and tried to perform with her. So to me, it comes off as if Tamar does not like surprises. So I feel like this definitely wasn't going to work, or maybe Traci should have known it might not have worked, but I don't think she expected this response. So Traci did it, and she, was leaning out the window trying to talk to her sister, and Tamar straight up ignored her. It was kind of funny. We can't verify whether or not Tamar actually saw Traci and maybe just ignored her or thought that she was a suspicious person. But because a producer called and said that Tamar basically is refusing to film with the family, that means that some of this was a little bit contrived. And that Tamar probably knew that Traci was going to be there with the cameras, and that's why Tamar did not acknowledge Traci. So Traci called Towanda, and Towanda had to point out, your sisters didn't do anything to you. They're just trying to be there to support you. Why doesn't she want to film with us? And is Tamar acting out a case of misplaced anger? Is she angry with Vince and just doesn't really know how to express that and is throwing that onto her sisters? I don't know. But Traci was a little bit more understanding than I would have been. Okay, you ignore me, I might follow you. I don't know if you're my sister, but not just anybody. But we see Trina and Towanda picking out cakes for Mama Evelyn's birthday party, and Towanda is not saying anything about the movie set thing. Apparently, Towanda is a secret squirrel of the family. If any of the sisters have a conflict with the other, Towanda is usually the person to hear about it first. And apparently she's really good about keeping secrets. So Tawanda's keeping her mouth shut because I guess she wants Traci to tell the story herself. We all know how upset Traci was when Towanda spread that mess about Traci's husband having a baby or a love child. Now, next we talk about a little bit about how Vince got arrested, about Vince is supposedly having a baby, and Tamar posting all her crap on social media. We definitely remember when this happened in real life. And Towanda and Trina are talking about how in limbo Tamar is with her divorce. And while I agree that Tamar should definitely stay off social media regarding her personal life and how it's gotten her into so much trouble all the time, having the Twitter fingers and the Instagram fingers, I do feel that it is hypocritical of Trina and Towanda to talk about how Tamar is in limbo when we saw how their relationships with their ex-husbands were in limbo for years. We all know that Trina and Gabe have gone back and forth so many times. We know that Towanda and Andre have gone back and forth so many times. If that's not limbo, I don't know what it is. So, don't be hypocritical, ladies. But they asked if Vince is coming to the party, and I don't feel like there's a reason that he should. Why would you come to the party of someone who has openly and in public accused you of hitting your wife? Yeah. So next, we have all the sisters except Tamar having a little meeting. Apparently Denham's party went well. Also, apparently there's a drink named after Toni, and it's so strong that it helps you to forget. And Traci is drinking the Toni, and so they know that something is up with her. And so Traci tells them what happens with Tamar, and apparently Toni ain't having it. So next time on Braxton Family Values, we got to figure out if Vince shows up. I feel like he doesn't. All the clips that they were showing were previous clips that had happened before. So something about that didn't feel right. I really don't know where this season is going, but whatever. So thank you guys for watching. This has been my review for Braxton Family Values. Do not forget that I will be reviewing Iyanla Fix My Life this Saturday and the last installment of the Real Housewives reunion on Sunday. And also don't forget to check out my review on The Last OG, which aired this Tuesday. So thank you guys for watching yet again, and peace out, home slices.